Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Squares of the Round Table. And this week we have many a thing to talk about, so hope that you'll stay with us. And, of course, we have with us tonight, once again, presenting Mr.
Mister is here?
Taking wings. Let me fly again.
Okay, well, one of you could have jumped in there. All right, well, Mr. Mike Boyle.
We got to figure out these opens.
Yeah,
We do.
This is not going
It
well.
sounded good. It sounded good. What happened? Okay.
You know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Mr.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, who was that?
Well, you know.
Is this multiple choice?
Yeah.
Oh, shush. Anyway. Okay, Mr. Mike Boyle and Mr. Jeff Stein. So,
Hello.
okay, guys.
Welcome back, Ivan. We missed you.
We like you, Ivan.
Well, I'm glad to be back, and I am here in front of the wonderful microphones of Squares of the Round Table, and waiting to discuss as to what is happening and what is new in the news.
Yeah.
So why don't I go ahead and point over to Jeff, and why don't you let us know what you did this weekend or what you did this week?
What did I do this week? Let's see. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was kind of a quiet week for me. I did do a speech out at Park Ridge Toastmasters, and it went pretty well. I did get a chance to watch some football yesterday, and then, well, not yesterday, Sunday. Now the bag's out. Of course, we record on Monday. I did get to watch some football. I got to watch both of my teams, and I caught a couple things on demand. One of them was the book club. I mean, basically, it's the First Wives Club, except even more boring and more heinous. And then I caught the new Overboard, which actually was pretty good. I actually think it was better than the original. It was the guy from How to Be a Latin Lover and Anna Faris, and I thought both of them were pretty good. And then Sofia Vergara, what's her name? The one who was in Desperate Housewives, the one who was married to Tony Parker. I can't remember her name.
Sophia.
Not Sophia, the one from Desperate Housewives. And now I can't remember her name.
Eva Longoria?
Yeah, Eva Longoria, that's the one. She's in there. And I can't remember who else is in there. But there's some other people in there. And, that was pretty good. You know, so all, you know, kind of a quiet weekend. And I think I was okay with that, you know?
Okay, and anything else you'd like to add?
Well, apparently, Amazon has a new toy that I need to consider, which is something called an Airzuka.
Okay, and all right, what is this potentially dangerous toy that you're thinking about getting, dude?
Well, it's up on the Squares of the Roundtable podcast page
On your Facebook.
It's according to this, it blows harmless balls of air at any target. Just point and shoot the ball of air and have a blast.
Air balls. Okay.
However, apparently it can be quite a little bit more fun because one of the questions that it's in its Q&A situation that somebody asked was, can you fart in it and blow it from someone's face from across the room? And apparently someone was able to answer this question. I can confirm this. I received one of these as a Christmas gift while deployed. Naturally, it only took a few minutes for two of my soldiers to attempt firing a fart through it. The key is to have the gunner, the quote-unquote gunner, cock and hold the weapon while the loader does his thing. It took nearly 2 full seconds for the blast to cross the tent, resulting in the major suddenly flailing his arms, yelling, "Oh God, I got it in my mouth."
Oh my God.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the fart gun exists.
Okay. All right. The poot pistol has now been perfected.
I want a fart gun.
Welcome to the 21st century.
Yeah.
Okay, folks.
Now, when is Zephyrin Cochran going to create warp drive?
I don't know. Well, I mean, the real thing is that it was in Despicable Me. He wanted a dart gun and he got a fart gun from the Minions. Now we have a real fart gun.
Somebody put it in the air and that, make it so, right?
Oh, they put it in the air, all right.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
As well as figuratively.
Yeah. I believe we've stunk this one up enough. What have you been up to, Mike?
Well, let's see. Let me get my notes. I have my notes here.
He's got Don't die, Aaron. Don't die.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
The fart gun.
That's rule number 1 on the podcast. Don't die while podcasting.
Oh, no, I'm not dying. I can't do a rip on the bong too hard here, so I'll quit coughing now.
Apparently, Canada's going to legalize weed this week.
Yes, there was a big to-do about that in all of the major media. Yep. And there are certain stipulations, though, but for the most of it, it's going to be what everybody is doing currently in California and Colorado and 9 other states. So
the national anthem is being changed from "Oh Canada" to "Dude Canada."
It's kind of like that one part in
Up in Smoke,
It's kind of like was it Cheech who was in that '70s show that one time where they're trying to bring the stuff back over the border from Canada.
You're talking about Tommy Chong.
Tommy Chong, where he's like, "What are you doing in Canada?" "No, man, what are you doing in Canada?"
That was when that show. That was that show's jump the shark moments when they brought Tommy Chong out of Mothballs and put him back out into the show.
Here we go. According to Rolling Stone, recreational marijuana becomes legal after the show probably will have aired. So if you're in Canada and you're listening to the show, light one up. You could probably use the fart gun to get there.
There you go. Light a match. It's 420. It's 420 someplace.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's absolutely 420. Let's see. What did I say? Apparently, they'll have 200 retailers countrywide for the business on day one, within West Coast British Columbia only having one marijuana run store in the city of Kamloops. Montreal will have quite a few. Montreal would be fun.
Wow,
apparently
200 distributors. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, somebody must have read the memo. Just have all this ready to go. 200.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, apparently they're already. Like I said, everything seems to be ready to go.
Fully armed and operational.
Oh boy,
dude, Trump, you gotta calm down. Here, have some kitty litter. It's crunchy.
Yeah, here's some oregano, man. This is the best stuff. They call it oregano.
So anyway, what I did last week.
You smoked some oregano?
No.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I got caught up on the current Batman series. There was the series that we're still in the aftermath of the aborted wedding of Bruce and Selena.
Oh yeah.
And there may be some spoilers here if you're you may wonder one or two issues behind. I've followed 54, 55, and 56 of the current Batman series, and Bruce has kind of like a mini flashback of when he first brought in Dick Grayson, and then jump forward to present when Nightwing is being the immature kid that he is. Flashback when Dick was just a little brat, getting over the death of his parents when Bruce was trying to bring him in. And then it jumps forward again to a Russian assassin that shoots Dick
I heard
Grayson.
about this.
And Batman's on a quest to find the killer. Of course, Batman's like, I can find him. He's like, he disappears from everywhere. No one knows. No one can find him. Batman's like, I can find him.
I'm Batman.
Yes, he does. And he is Batman.
I'm Batman.
No, I'm Batman.
So it was good.
I'm Batman.
No, I'm Batman. I even have a shirt that says that, too.
What was that?
That was me upping the volume.
Okay.
That's me making sure that it's clear. I'm Batman.
Okay.
Played another game of Defenders of the Realm. yesterday. I didn't get a picture. I didn't post the picture of game night on my Facebook page, but that was fun. It's difficult to play. It's difficult to win. It's cooperative, and it was good. They added They had an expansion for more cards and quests, and that was interesting. It's fun. It's challenging, but we didn't win. Obviously, we got close though. But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Isn't that right, kids? Trying to get into a Halloween mood. Like last year, This time last year, I was kind of in a down mood, trying to get into Halloween mood. So after the Bears game, I was flipping the channels around, and the original Ghostbusters was on one of the cable channels. So I was like, "Yep, I'm watching this." And man, that movie still holds up, man. 34 years old, and that movie's still good to me.
It's still solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Great story.
Yes. I mean,
have you heard about that? Speaking of Halloween, have you heard about this this trick or treat ban that's going to happen for anyone over the age of 13 caught trick or treating in this? I can't really. I'm trying to look what city it is, but apparently, if you're over the age of 13 and you're trick or treating, they apparently are. They're going to arrest you.
What?
That's ridiculous. Really?
Chesapeake, Virginia. Ordinance on the books.
Ivan, are you all right, man?
I'm fine. Did you say Cheapskate, Virginia?
Chesapeake.
That's a peak, but it could be Cheapskate.
That's a good one, though. It's good.
If teens are caught, get this, if teens are caught in costume with a full sack of free candy, they could be found guilty of a misdemeanor and shall be punished by the fine of not less than $25 nor more than $100 or confinement of jail times not more than 6 months or both. So you could serve 6 months
for having a full sack.
Yeah, wow.
You know, I take it back, Ivan. We did not miss you last week.
Yes, we did. Matter of fact, I saved a specific story because Ivan's back.
Yeah. No, that's bullshit. What, are they going to start carding kids now? What, you don't look like, I'm 12. No, you're not. Like,
yeah.
So here's my thing to you, though. Okay, what if you're accompanying the child?
I don't think it matters.
So you mean if I was let's
Well, when the kid's got a longer beard than you do, then it means he needs to stop trick or treating.
Yeah. I mean, if I was taking my 7-year-old sister out, and I'm 13, you mean I'm actually going to get arrested because I'm
only if you're asking for a treat.
Here's
stay at the curb.
Here's
That's what mom and dad do.
About this.
Okay.
Congratulations. You don't want them to trick or treat. I can think of all the other things I did on Halloween besides trick or treat. All of them were worse than trick or treat.
Okay.
Things like shaving, creaming people's stuff.
Oh, toilet papering their houses?
Toilet papering their house.
Eggs.
Eggs.
Those,
especially the ones that have sit in the closet for 3 weeks.
Those things in the movies where they throw the thing to poop. I mean, I didn't do that, but I know
the burning poop. Okay,
yeah. I know people who did that. Not to mention
that's cool.
Underage drinking, underage parties where there's drinking and alcohol and probably sex that probably might not be so wise. Really in reality, you're just pushing kids right there. If I don't know. It just seems silly.
Yeah. That's dumb.
Ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, the people down there just don't have nothing else better to do. Let's make some stupid laws, and we've done our good deed for the year.
Well, I'm sure they have I don't know how big Chesapeake, Virginia is, or Cheapskate, Virginia. Maybe I should take a look.
Cheapskate, Virginia.
See, I think I gotta get a pumpkin too. I was in a down mood last year, same time, so I want to try and get into the Halloween spirit. Not that I'm going to make a costume or anything, but I like to carve pumpkin. I like cooking pumpkin seeds in the oven.
Oh yeah. I know you've always mentioned that.
Yeah. Cheapskate, Virginia has about over 200,000 people.
Okay.
So how are you going to enforce this law?
Are under the age of 13?
Are you going to have a cop at every door This is so dumb.
Yeah. This is a waste of time. You really gonna know? Are we really like having people monitor whether somebody's 13 or 14? Good luck with that.
Yeah, and they'll say, what happens when the grumpy neighbor and the 17-year-old kid in a hoodie shows up with a bag at their door, and what's he gonna do? Call 911?
You know, I think some people might.
Stupid.
Can you imagine some person, and they've just gotten to an advanced state of puberty, Hey, you can't be 13. Well, I'm 12 years old. Can't help the facial hair.
Not really.
Got my tickets for the Queen movie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's coming November 2.
Cool.
A couple of friends of mine are going to join me, and that's cool. Ivan, Gesundheit.
Yeah, Ivan's dying.
No, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm good. Okay. So you're gonna go see Queen.
Well, that's not until November, but yeah. I got my tickets, though. I like my Fandango. I like picking my seats.
Like my Fandango.
I like going to the New Norwich Theater. I mean, with the assigned seating, especially the sofa-sized chairs they got now, and the layback lounges.
What are you doing? I mean, aren't we going to the movies? When did this turn into I want to go to my living room? I don't know.
But that's kind of a cool thing, to be able to go to a theater and then you have a choice. Well, yeah, grab yourself a regular chair, but then, yeah, you know what? Treat yourself. Get yourself the lounge chair, man, with the cup holder and what have you.
Yeah. There are theaters in the city I know that have dine-in. I mean, they'll let people come to your seat and they'll bring food to you.
Yeah,
they'll bring drinks to you too.
Norfolk Court does it. The AMC at Norfolk Court does that. My mom actually went. She was like, "It was so wonderful." I'm like, "Oh God, just go get your stuff."
Doesn't Movica 18 do that too? Don't they have a dining service there?
I don't know if they have a dining service. The last time I went, they have. The last time I went to Movico, it's been a while. Movico, the last time I went, now it's been a while.
Okay.
With the more expensive section, it's at least it was valet parking.
Uh-huh.
It was you get a free popcorn, and it's assigned seating, and it's kind of like a couch seating kind of thing.
Okay.
Or more like a comfy chair kind of thing. They do have alcohol, and they do have a restaurant in there that's a nicer restaurant. The food's okay. You can do other stuff. You can order alcohol and bring it in and do that. I don't know if they actually have it where you can, if they have it now where they'll bring the stuff to you. I'm not sure.
You don't know if they got the actual servant,
Yeah,
service?
I don't know if they have that.
Okay. I know that over here at the Logan Theater here in Logan Square, since they had it renovated because it was built in 1915, and I guess for many years, as the neighborhood evolved, and so a lot of that beautiful architecture kind of got covered up. Well, they brought all the splendor of that back. They brought it back into its original 1915 look. Mm-hmm. And then they also added a beautiful bar. Okay, I mean they really did a beautiful job on the theater. It's got a bar. It's got a room. It's got an all-persons room where they can, if you want to sing or if you want to do comedy, they got a comedy night there.
Okay.
Which is really cool. They got the 11 o'clock late classic movies. Me and Soraya went to go see Nightmare on Elm Street. And still scared the shit out of me after all these years. Yeah, Freddy Krueger, man, like you were saying about the movie earlier, Mike, some things just never go out.
When's Halloween? When's the Halloween?
Halloween is the last Wednesday coming up.
No, not that.
The Halloween movie.
The Halloween movie.
He knows what day Halloween is on, Ivan.
Okay, well, all right. I just answered the question.
That was great. That was pretty funny. Yes. Halloween's at the end of the month, Ivan. Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Guys, all right. Shame on me.
This Friday, it's this weekend, the new Halloween movie. Kind of surprising that First Man, which apparently is the Neil Armstrong story type piece, did not do well in the box office, but it seems both A Star Is Born and Venom have both continue to roll, and are having good runs. And I guess I should be shocked. I mean, I ended up going to see Venom, so.
What did you think of it?
Oh God.
There we go.
Should I open up that box? Is that what I'm doing?
Here we go. So the best way to describe Venom is this. If you don't know any of the real history or anything regarding Venom or the character or anything about it, I think you'll be okay. However, if you have any clue about any of the background of the character and some of the canon pieces, you're going to sit there the entire time and just be like, what the hell?
Okay, I get it. It's that whole unless you're in the know syndrome, yeah.
I now understand why people were comparing it to Catwoman. It is much better than Catwoman, but I understand I now understand the comparisons to the Halle Berry Catwoman, which is it's essentially Venom in name. There are some basics that keep the same, which is that Eddie Brock, Venom, Wyatt, those are, and I don't want to spoil, but obviously there's something else there. But again, those are there. I know at one point, Venom, Eddie Brock was based in San Francisco. I don't know if he was a reporter, but I know he was a photographer. And so it was interesting because they kind of make him this reporter. The rest of it, that's when it starts to veer. Other than the fact that the symbiote is from outer space. And that's when we start to go off the beaten path.
Off the rails? Okay.
Right. Well, it essentially they essentially create an origin in which you don't need Spider-Man in any way, shape, or form. And that's, there's a part of me where it's like, I understand you felt the need to do that, but here's the problem. At some point, if you want to bring Spider-Man back, I don't understand how that fits in now. Or if it can, or if it does. I don't know. I will say that I feel like the actors did a good job. I feel like the source material and the story and some of the things they did were the parts that hindered them. The other part is, I swear for at least 24 hours, all I was doing was the Venom voice. I swear I was doing the Venom voice for I am talking to you, Ivan. I like you, Mike. I like you a lot.
So, do you think this movie was created for normies?
Yes, I think that this movie was created for the normal folk. I think this movie was created for the Marvel apologists who will just about watch anything that has the word Marvel in it, even if it's not what they wanted. But we haven't even gotten to the fun part. Like I said, I talk like this the entire movie. This is my voice. I am Venom.
Oh boy.
I talk like this. And I mostly did a comedy.
Yeah, I hear it's kind of has the LOLs in it.
Oh,
we like her. She's funny. Can I eat that head? No. I could talk like this the rest of the way. And the other part is Venom's rationale as to why he decides to stick around and stay with Eddie Brock, just a total disconnect moment. I'm trying to do this spoiler free, but literally at one point Venom sits there and says, Eddie, you're a loser just like me. I'm a loser. What? Venom is a loser. Really? Seriously? I don't understand. Venom is a badass symbiote that is one of the most feared Spider-Man villains, and now I'm a loser. I'm a loser. I would see it as a matinee. I would see it on $5 Tuesday. A friend of mine really, really wanted to see it to the point where she was like, oh, I'll pay. I'm like, okay. But we were sitting there making the Venom voice the entire time when we got done. We were talking like this the rest of the way. We talk like this all the time, Mike.
Out of 5 yeah-mans, what do you give it?
2. We like it.
1 for the voice, I guess. He gets 1 star for the voice. 1 yeah-man for the voice.
We like the funny.
Okay.
So it's a Venom movie that's not for hardcore Venom fans.
We will eat your head.
A floor filler.
Shut up. We don't like you. We will eat you.
Yeah. There's some people watching this movie say, yeah, I'll file that away.
Oh, boy. It's about what we were expecting, Jeff.
Well, I will say there are two after credit scenes. One has to actually do with the direction for a second Venom movie.
Of course.
The second actually is all the way at the end, and it's actually a scene. It's a scene from Into the Spider-Verse. So if you're not interested in Into the Spider-Verse, you can skip the second post-credit scene.
Is it animated?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the animated that's coming out in December.
All right, so Sony's kind of building their own little sandbox, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, too, because the minute that Venom made money, they immediately greenlit Morbius, which is just another project where I'm sitting there like, could you pick more of the projects where I'm literally sitting there going, why would anybody want to watch this? And maybe I'm the wrong person. I'm not a horror fan film, but Morbius is one of those characters that some people just love and others don't, and I'm just not a fan. And the only thing I keep coming back to is, well, if you're going to do Morbius, where's Blade? You know, Blade's the big factor in Morbius, and, you know, the other part is again, where's Spider-Man? Oh, wait, not around.
You know, Wesley Snipes is not able to reprise his role.
Well, the other thing is that I believe Marvel now has the rights to Blade again, so, you know, the problem is that that's not something that Sony has the rights to. But my understanding is that this movie Venom only cost them $100 million to make, and they've already made more than what they made more than what the budget was. So the real question is that everybody's going to ask is there a second movie? Or let me phrase that. Is there enough of an audience for a second movie? I think there's enough curiosity for people to go. I'm just not sure that people really, unless they really do something spectacular, I don't know that I'm planning on seeing a Venom 2 movie unless it's, again, a matinee or on a $5 Tuesday or something like that. I won't pay full price. Oh, I can hear people talk like this.
Wow.
I feel bad for Tom Hardy. He does a really good job in it. He's actually pretty good in it. And Michelle Williams is actually pretty good in it. Most of the people who are in it are pretty good. It's just the material is pretty dog shit.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I just... What is
Getting
that?
a background noise.
Aha.
Oh, probably my air conditioner. Hold on.
Maybe it's Venom.
Ivan, it's 40 degrees outside. What are you running the air conditioner for?
He's cold.
I got the fan going.
Mike, we are cold.
I got the fan going.
We need to keep it cold so I can eat it.
There we go.
It got cold fast.
Yes.
Shit, in a matter of about a day.
Yeah,
We like cold. It refrigerates our food. We eat.
Okay, Venom.
Venom Stein here.
I talk like this. That's how I talk through the entire movie. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the other part. takes them forever to get anywhere in that movie. I mean,
The
literally.
the first act is long.
Oh my God! It's like
long and painful.
It's like, well, no, they don't even get to like the part where it's like they have a lot of story where it's like I feel like this could have gotten cut down into 15 minutes and we could have gotten more time with Venom. And I'm positive the only reason why we didn't is because they were trying to keep the budget down. And it's like there's a part of me where it's like, yeah, we can tell it's $100 million movie versus the kind of money that Marvel's spending on their movies. You can just tell. I don't know. It's
That's sad. That's sad when a studio gets to limit such budgets on certain things.
Well,
it's crazy.
the movie is under 2 hours, just under 2 hours. So
yeah. Well, the first 30 minutes plus is kind of painful.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I should say it's kind of painful. It's just, where is this going? Are we gonna get to anything soon?
Well, when the titular character is a visual effect, you have to set up a story, and we know why, because it costs money to have these effects. You can't have the whole movie with these effects. At least not the first one. Gives you an excuse to save some money by just padding it out with an origin story of whatever, Eddie's story or whatever story he's trying to follow that'll lead him up to him finding the symbiote.
I just feel like they could have gotten to it a lot faster and quicker. And considering the fact that there was a period of time where really in reality you don't see the symbiote anyway, it's just this voice that, it's just me that you hear while Eddie is talking and you see Eddie.
So it's Eddie Brock talking like that.
No, there's like a voice that nobody else can hear but Eddie.
Oh, okay. It's a voice in his head. Okay.
Yeah, but everybody else can hear it in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like Eddie is going nuts. So
Right. Okay.
Like I said, I expect the Halloween movie next weekend will probably knock both of them off the top spot.
Well, First Man didn't do it. Of course.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really. Were either of you looking to see a Neil Armstrong movie? I'm not against it, but it's like, I don't know that I was in the mood to like go pay money to go watch that. Were you?
I want to see it, but I just didn't want to. Like I said, I've got other fish to fry this fall with movie-wise coming.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like, how do I put this? I feel like this is going to be probably one of those movies that might actually get some Oscar nominations, so it'll be around a while, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I've heard good things about the acting and stuff here, that's a possibility. So I'm like, okay, this might be around later when I'm not able to find anything to see. That's a possibility. Hey, I did see something interesting, and I want to check something because there was a new Shazam trailer, and it had a different release date. Yes, that's okay. They did change the release date on Shazam.
To what?
They have moved Shazam's release date to April 5th.
Yeah, because they got to give a full month for Captain Marvel. It comes out in March.
Right.
And then in May is Avengers 4.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that almost every other month a Marvel product is coming out into the street?
No, Shazam is not a Marvel product.
Shazam is DC.
Yeah.
Okay. But it seems like the whole superhero genre seems like there's so much being, put out there now.
Right.
That wasn't there from before. So.
Well, and I think that's where I think, there's been that backlash from some people about
too many hero movies?
About all the superhero stuff. And there's a part of me where I'm like, hey, you know what? Some of us have been waiting for these movies for decades. And I mean decades. And
then doesn't the entertainment part of it, need a very needed shot in the arm with, superheroes? We haven't seen them in a while, especially the certain ones that have just come out as of late.
Well, I'll take it a step further, which is, here's how many Westerns were there back in the day?
Oh, geez. In the 1950s, there had to have been at least 40, if not more.
Right, in the 60s too. You had Westerns was just
it was just like they were everywhere. Bonanza, Big Valley, Matt Masterson, Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Just so many of them.
Well, I mean,
movies and TV.
Right.
Exactly. And I think that's where the best comparison that I've heard is, which is, I think superheroes was going to be there for a while, especially for the fact that comic books are kind of an American art form. I'm not shocked by this. If anything, what I'm curious about is
it is art.
Right. Well, the part I'm interested in is if and when the superhero stuff drops. The thing is, I don't think we're going to lose comic book movies and TV shows because there's so much in the genre right now in terms of comic books that move away from the superhero stuff that we just haven't seen yet. And I don't know. I just...
And then, of course, in some form, those very same characters, they might want to build into a little bit more per character as well, don't you think?
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm looking at...
I'm saying that, if they don't do a story arc, would they just make it more of a character build?
Could. I mean, it's interesting. I'm looking at January 2019. I was just curious. Looking at that month so far, I guess the live action Kim Possible comes out on the first day of the new year.
Oh,
that's odd.
Yeah, I know. And then Hellboy comes out on the 11th. And then I'm looking to see Glass, which is the Unbreakable sequel. I guess I'm not big on the How You Trained Your Dragon thing, but How You Trained Your Dragon, I guess
that's going to be big.
I'm sure that is.
There's a hardcore fan base for that.
That's kind of the highlights for January. I'm curious though now because I
don't even want to think about January.
Well, I mean, okay, the How to Train Your Dragon, is this another movie or is this the third movie?
I think it's the third one.
Oh, okay. What?
But I was curious because if Captain Marvel's moving out of February, like here, they still have Dark Phoenix in February, and we know that that's not the case.
No, Dark Phoenix was moved to July, wasn't it?
Right, something like that.
And Captain Marvel's in March. You're reading an old article or something.
Right, and then I'm just looking at dates. I guess the Lego movie's in February.
Yeah, that's right. The Lego movie too, yeah.
This has got to be old because I'm looking at stuff where it talks about Silver and Black, and that's not happening. This has got to be old. Let's see if I can find something more
recent.
What are you reading on a scroll? Yeah, you've got some old news there.
Yeah, no. I went to go see, upcoming movies for 2019, and apparently, here, let's see. Let's try this. Well, that's interesting. See, even these are not 100% now because the Alatillo thing they're saying is in February and now it's being moved to December, I believe, right? Hasn't it? Wasn't that something that now it's been moved to December?
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Right. I mean, it's this is just they're moving stuff around. I will say this: they're moving stuff around like crazy.
Yeah, release dates are getting jostled around so people can maximize their box office receipts for that weekend.
Yeah, I think this has turned into. I think you're 100% right.
We talked about this musical chairs that Fox is doing now,
right.
And before this buyout that's supposedly going to happen, supposedly finalized early next year between Marvel and Disney.
Yeah.
Fox and Disney.
Boy, I'll tell you, I'm a little surprised. If I was DC, unless they're not finished with the movie, boy, I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised that they moved out of February. There's certainly... Now it's kind of open. I don't see a lot in February where I'm sitting there going, it's funny, I see more. Well, no, hold on. Now here's the funny part. Okay. Now I'm looking at the Kim Possible. I don't see it listed. So some of this stuff seems like it's all over the place. This is what's crazy is now dates are all over the place. Nobody knows what it is. As a matter of fact, There was an Aladdin trailer that came out this week.
That's coming in May too.
Right, there wasn't much to it.
I didn't watch the teaser for that.
I did, but there wasn't really much to it.
No, they just showed you like the castle. I think that was it.
Yeah, it was really hard.
It was just like a shot.
I hope Will Smith does a good job as the genie. I think he'll be all right.
That is one of those things. It's funny because I saw they do that as a Broadway play, and I couldn't stand watching someone else be the genie other than Robin Williams. So, I mean,
I got to see that movie at the Music Box Theater this year. I got to see that back on the big screen. That was cool. Yeah, Julie and I saw that. That was a lot of fun. It's
a phenomenal movie. He is so incredible in that.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater back in the day when it first came out.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, like I said, the point being, like I said, I think. I don't know. Well, I'll be curious to see if we're going to get. I'm curious to see if we're going to get another Venom movie. It seems like there's no reason not to. It seems like it's doing well enough that that's going to happen. I'm just curious if there's really going to be an audience, the audience that we think. I think there was a lot of curiosity because there was kind of a mixed reaction, which was, oh, it's horrible. And then people it had a box office.
And because it was in October, so people are going to think it's scary. So.
But it wasn't. It wasn't scary at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't scary at all.
Well, the trailers for Venom don't come off as a goofy comedy, yuck kind of, ha-ha, look at me have fun. It's just like,
yeah, like I said. But what else? So it's funny. There's other movie stuff that we've got coming up. I guess they finally have greenlit a Black Widow movie for Marvel, but we don't have any real dates or information on that yet. I guess Sony's now got a script that they're working on that will feature Spider-Man based on Kraven's Last Hunt, which is a Spider-Man story. So that's out there. And then guess who's back? Guess what story is back again, Mike?
The Martians? No, I have no idea.
Our friend James Gunn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been he's been signed on to do a something for DC. I don't remember.
Suicide Squad 2, and they're talking about him.
Suicide. All right, okay.
And in fairness, that's a smart move by them. That's a really smart move. He's the right guy to bring in for this. And I liked the Suicide Squad movie. I thought it was better than a lot of people. I think James Gunn can do that justice. It's funny, I guess Dave Bautista's already talked about, hey, sign me up, I'm interested, which is kind of amusing. But I think it's a smart move for them to bring him in. They need a guy like that. And I'd like to see him, hopefully maybe they'll put him on other projects too, I'd like to see him on a new Justice League movie. That'd be great. That'd be phenomenal. Yeah.
But we didn't get to Ivan.
Yeah.
What have you been up to the last couple weeks?
Oh well, here's I went to go pick up my my other volumes of Omaha. 4, 5, and 6, and I got to complete the story finally after 30 plus years. I finally
better late than never.
Oh yeah, and then of course it's so cool that I actually went ahead and got 1, 2, and 3 as well. I figure I might as well complete the set so that way whatever future brings it. Yeah, guys, I'm sitting here with the DC Nation issue number 5. Have any of you guys ever seen this in the bookstores?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm looking inside here, and there's an article that says, pick your poison, angry gods, evil aliens, and an upside-down man counting down the 10 biggest threats facing the DC universe. Okay, let's see if, do you know any of them by name? And see if they make the list?
What is this, an article, or what is this?
Yeah, this is like a total breakdown of 10 of the biggest threats facing the DC universe.
Jack Snyder?
Zack Snyder. That's good. You're funny. That should be on the list, but it's probably not.
No, it's not. It's not on the list. Okay, here.
Marvel haters.
Okay, I'll count them down. Okay. Number 10 is Bane.
I'm willing to guess.
Okay, well, I'll give you a head start. Number 10 is Bane. So tell me number 9.
It was until I put on the mask.
Oh, Batman.
The vessel Ra's al Ghul's destiny, sounding like Sean Connery.
We gotta do a little spy stuff a little bit. That was also
we can still go back to the Batman has sex thing with Talia thing.
Okay,
so Bane, all right.
Bane is there any context for this? What do they
just
say?
Top 10 villains or?
Yeah, it's about, like it says, it's 10 of the biggest threats facing the DC universe. So it's 10 little panels, and each has a profile here. Like, for example, let me see by the hints. I'll read this next one.
No, don't read the next one. Give us an example of what it says for Bane.
For Bane? Okay, It says, know your enemy. One of the few people that ever outwits Batman. He once famously engineered an attack that ended with him breaking the Dark Knight's book.
Back.
Sorry.
You broke his book.
He broke
my book, Bane.
They both have a spine.
Okay. Okay. All right, and then let me see. Birth of Evil, born in the Caribbean islands, and it just goes on to talk about that. And weapons of mass destruction, while not possessing any superhero powers. Bane is
the Venom. He's got the Venom that he uses.
Yeah,
all right.
Mike, his body to perfection.
I'm sorry, Ivan was talking. What was that, Jeff?
I'm sorry, Mike. You want to take a guess first, or you want me to just start running the board?
Brainiac.
Okay, you think it's Brainiac number 9?
No.
I'm sure he's on the list, but
he's on the list.
Oh, well, let me go see where he is on the list. Brainiac.
Okay. Ivan, you have the article. I can't read it for you.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, it's not there. No.
What?
Brainiac.
No Brain and no Brainiac?
No Brainiac.
Brainiac, the guy who takes cities from worlds and puts them in bottles.
I'm just reading the page, guys. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if it has something to do with upcoming storylines. This is one of the reasons why I was trying to get context, Mike, because I wasn't sure. Let's see.
Oh, these are upcoming, okay.
Maybe, I don't know. The problem is I don't know what the context is. I have this feeling like we're not talking all time because Bane shouldn't be in the top 10 all time.
Well, he's big in the current Batman series with the.
Yeah. Okay, so all right. So we tried Brainiac. You want to nail somebody else, or do you want me to go?
You go, Jeff.
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
How many pages is this article?
It runs 3 pages.
Okay.
I mean, 3's huge.
I just heard you turn 3 pages, so that's more than 3.
Well, okay. Anyway, so I'll tell you. Right. Talia al Ghul.
Wait.
Who was that?
Talia al Ghul.
Is what, number 9?
Is number 9.
Okay.
What happened to Lex Luthor? Did we not get him?
No, he wasn't here.
He's not on the list.
No.
All right. Okay.
But he's part of the Legion of Doom.
The biggest Superman villain you got.
Okay. Should I go to number 8?
Yes, that's great.
Yeah. Now let's just go to. Wait. Hold on. What? All right. Based on what Ivan is telling us, I don't. Okay. So wait. So far we've gone Batman villains, right? We haven't heard any other villain other than a Batman villain. So let's take a shot at this. How about the Joker?
Joker. Not here.
He's not in my pages either.
Not on my pages either.
Sorry, boys. I'm dealing with real media here.
All right. Just read the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read the list. This is not funny anymore.
Okay. Number 8 is Darkseid.
Darkseid.
Okay.
Darkseid. Oh no, it's Darkseid.
Okay. Darkseid. Well, Darkseid. I would say S-I-D-E, not S-E-I-D. Okay.
Darkseid.
It's pronounced the same.
Darkseid. Okay. Number 7, the dragon god Nema.
I don't even know who that is.
Dragon god. Okay. Is that maybe one of Wonder Woman's villains?
Okay.
No. Who does it say he's the villain of?
Hold on.
Dragon God.
Appears in Aquaman.
Dragon God and Aquaman? There are dragons underwater now?
I guess so.
Crazy.
Starting in December's issue number 43.
Okay, these are upcoming villains. Okay.
This is upcoming villain.
Okay. Upcoming villains that are getting profiled in current DC books.
Got it. Now we have a context.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, did I miss something?
No,
Okay.
that's all right.
No.
We just thought maybe it was like a top 10 villains of all time or something.
Yeah. We're kind of going a different direction.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead to number 7, Ivan.
Okay, well that was, the Dark Side was number 8, Dragon God Nama was number 7, number 6, the Upside Down Man. Okay, and, he's gonna be appearing.
Upside down up here on the...
Yeah, or right side up, but up on the other side.
Ooh.
Let me see, Upside Down Man hails from a dimension of pure magic. Okay.
That's gotta be a Superman villain.
Okay, actually it's a Justice League Dark villain.
Oh, okay. Sure, Justice League Dark. Okay. I've never been into Justice League Dark.
Okay, so here we go. Number 5 is Rogol Zar. Rogolzar? I hope I pronounced it correctly.
Oh, that's the Superman villain that Bendis...
You got it right on the nose, Jeff. Yep,
that's
Superman.
The Superman villain that Bendis created. The new one that's... Technically, he gave him a backstory that he's been there all along. Yeah, that's the new one.
Okay.
The military zealot, claiming to have destroyed Superman's home world of Krypton.
Right, yeah, that's...
Okay. All right, so all right, we're locked in now. Here we go. Okay, number 4, Controller Moo.
Controller Moo?
Controller Moo, number 4. Controller
Moo. He's a dairy farmer?
It says here, the controllers...
We're milking for everything, aren't we?
The controllers are an alien race.
Utterly preposterous.
Oh, controllers.
Right, the controller Moo. Yes, the controller are an alien race with ties to the Guardians of the Universe. But unlike their blue counterparts, they believe total control is the only way to ensure peace and order in the cosmos. So
I like the way Kate Blanchett says cosmos in Thor Ragnarok. So we were to rule the 9 realms of the cosmos. Is this the way she says cosmos? Not just cosmos, but cosmos. It's a pretty cool way the British people say it. Okay, go ahead, Ivan.
Okay, so this character is appearing in November's The Green Lantern number 1.
Oh, gotta be Sinestro, right?
Yeah, Controller Moo is number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, Green Lantern number 1. Okay, now number 3, and of course our fan favorites, the Legion of Doom.
Oh, the whole Legion.
Oh, Legion. Okay.
Okay, the Legion of Doom, and of course appearing in the Justice League. Led by criminal mastermind Lex Luthor, the Legion of Doom is a nightmarish counterpart to the Justice League. The Joker, Black Manta, the Cheetah.
Black Manta.
Manta.
Not Monra.
Black Mumra.
Black Mamba?
Thundercats. Oh.
No, not the Black Mumra.
Okay.
This is the Black Mambo number 5.
A Gorilla Grodd. There's a print that's so small on this, it's hard to read. Okay, Sinestro and...
Sinestro.
Sinestro.
Okay, I can read. Anyway.
You want to get your magnifying glass, Ivan?
I'm going to have to, man. She's getting old stuff.
Black Mamra and
the Black
Stiletto.
Mamba.
Okay, guys. All right, here
let's
go.
finish this up. Let's move along.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, number 2, the Crisis Killer.
The Crisis Killer?
The Crisis Killer.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Okay,
well,
and I guess
it happened at Easter, actually, and then why we have the 3 days.
Oh, God, yeah. There we go.
Wait, are we talking about the same thing? Okay, never mind.
Nope.
Okay. That's the problem. The culprit behind Heroes in Crisis, superhero mass murder, hasn't been caught, much less identified.
That's the new one. That's the new series. That's the new mini series that they've got going on about that features Harley Quinn and Booster Gold and
Yeah, it's like a
thing. That does look interesting. It's from Tom King. It does look like an interesting story. I probably will pick it up when it goes to trade.
it's like PTSD, I guess, for some of the superheroes and
or
villains.
villains. Yeah, somebody. This
like rehab.
sanctuary thing that they were talking about. Yeah, that's supposed to be interesting.
Okay, then it says appearing in Heroes in Crisis.
Right, that is the same thing.
Okay. All right, and then number 1.
He made it.
Batman Who Laughs.
Who?
Oh, the Batman Who Laughs.
The Batman Who Laughs.
The Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, as if Batman were, like, crossed with the Joker. I'm not sure what that's all about.
As opposed to the Batman Who Cries or the Batman Who Poops in his pants?
Well, here we go. Know Your Enemy, a twisted version of Batman from a broken reality.
Oh, okay.
Batman Who Laughs is a hybrid amalgam of Bruce Wayne and the Joker.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
And then, of course, he's appearing in Justice League December. The Batman Who Laughs #1. It's gonna be its own little entity.
Speaking of its own little entity, when does that season? Was that issue 2 of that Batman Damned come out?
I have no idea. But
Yeah,
I get the impression DC is not so happy about that.
Yeah, I hear it was just the artists took a liberty with the Bat Junk, and now obviously they've digitally removed it, and there aren't going to be any new reprints. So if you happen to catch this issue, I guess you might want to hold on to it for a little bit.
Yeah, this is unfortunate because really, in reality, we need more. We need the type of stuff like this. Not that we need the Bat Junk, but we need a version for where there's something that is more for adults versus kids. And there are some stories that I would like to see done where you don't have to worry about the kids.
Basically, you're turning it into a bigger graphic novels issue now.
Well, right, but that's kind of what they were trying to do with this imprint. And this is where this Batman story was starting. And that's kind of unfortunate because now, I honestly, this is something I've been wanting for a long time. I think there is a place for stories with these characters that you can't tell as all ages stories. And that's unfortunate because I think there is a place for that and I think there's a market for it.
Well, no, absolutely there's a market for it. Of course, you get the majority of adult readers who don't get enough of that type of, character into those type of stories because, here it is. You're identifying a character that's mostly has been relatable to, young people and such, but you got the older readers like myself who have to reference, funny animal stories and such and everything. Yeah, I think it would be nice if there was an actual superhero arc, with a little bit more meat on its bones. Can I say that?
Well, there's meat on its bones, and then there's super adult content.
Okay, so where would the borders be then on this? I mean, we talking, full frontal against light and shadow?
Well, I mean, that's kind of what they tried to do here, I think, but yeah, I think that's part of the problem. I think part of the problem is that when you do something like this with a character like Batman, it's, in this day and age, it's gonna go viral. And there's advantages and disadvantages to that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're talking millions of downloads in the blink of an eye, to all matter of people.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, there's advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that, people will see this who might go, oh, this sounds interesting, and I'll go buy it. The disadvantage is that you have all the people who are going to sit there and look at something like this and go, oh my God, why are they having Batman be naked? And my kid doesn't need to see it. Never mind that they don't understand that we're not talking about the normal average Batman book. We're talking about a book that, quite frankly, your kids shouldn't be buying in the first place. So
Right. Well, I mean, weren't the animators leading up to something kind of big on that platform anyway? I mean, if you look at some of the later version Warner Brother, Batman and all those type of movies and such, and you got.
Well, this is a comic, Ivan. This isn't a movie.
No, but I'm saying, but like that. I mean, those guys are trying to push the borders, in the animated form. Why is it so difficult to push that envelope in the form of, comic book? Why is that so hard?
That's a really phenomenal question.
Yeah. I mean, because you think about it. I mean, yes, I understand that the characters are all based in their, in a lot of set in whatever storylines they came from. But, I mean, shouldn't they evolve a little bit? Shouldn't they just, be able to be out of the box? I mean, are these superheroes all the time? I mean, can they not have, love lives and sex lives and, things of this nature?
Well, they do. But it's just that here's the thing. Adults and obviously teenagers and young adults leading up to people our age. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge gulf in between the two. But
okay.
They're the ones who have the money, and they're the ones who pay for the comics. And if the content's good enough, the good stories will trickle down to the next generation.
Yeah.
It's like this, I forgot. I just picked up Archie Meets Batman 66 number 3, and I read it, and I was like, okay, it was good. But no 10-year-old is probably not going to care about Archie or the 66 Batman, but it's funny. It has this nostalgia for the older people, and it was a good story. It was fine. Look to see how it ends.
Ironically enough,
I have to pick up my copy. I want to grab that too.
Or I'll see you in 2 weeks. I can borrow it to you.
Oh, terrific! That'll be cool.
Although ironically enough, here's the funny part about that. That story is probably more open for kids than some of the other stuff that's currently out there.
And it's drawn simpler. I'm not saying it's drawn well, but it's just drawn in a more comic booky kind of fashion. It's not trying to be all gritty and dark and evil and brooding and.
No, it has the same type of nostalgia.
It's wholesome.
It always had.
Yeah.
Right. So, so with that, it's all good. I was going to say that my fourth issue of Unnatural has come in, so I'll have I hope to have a report for you next time on the next show for that, because, and then of course the Unnatural series 1 through 4 is now going to become a trade paperback now, which that's kind of cool. So that way, I can put one in storage. But yeah, I'm still engaged in the story. It's really very good.
I'm glad. Yeah. That's good.
Talking about, like I said, meat on its bones, comic book, slash graphic novel sensibility,
Well, but then you see that you can have the meat on the bones, but if you want an everlasting story, the current comic book format is made for trades, and Jeff can agree with me there that you're only going to get a story that's going to last so long, and then there'll be another issue 1 of some other series or a continuation of that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what you're saying is that at the time you go ahead and you take that kind of thing in, it just has the possibility of branching off into different directions, right?
Well, here's the thing. You're talking about different artists. You're talking about different generations. The way I've heard it explained is that a lot of these people are doing resets within 10 years. You think about it this way. How long, if you're talking about Captain America now, right. For him to be alive now, he was in the ice how long now? You've got to change some of that up, or, there's other aspects to that.
Well, of course, as the generations go on, you have to augment the stories to make them, more relevant in that.
Right.
Right.
Again, it's interesting because DC and Marvel have taken 2 different directions on how to create new versions of similar characters. DC kind of started it in the 90s when, they kind of started with their I'll call them their what I would say their third generation of heroes. And when I say that, suddenly you had Tim Drake as Robin. You had Cassie as the new Wonder Girl. You had a new Speedy that that came out. You had Arrowette. You had, trying to think who else is there.
Did they, and of course I know there was a Birdman. Did you become Birdwoman?
The Superboy that came out of
Hawkman, not Birdman.
Oh, Hawkman?
Birdman.
Harvey Birdman.
Oh no, Harvey Birdman.
But
yeah, well, it was Birdman.
I'm not. But here's the thing: I'm not talking about those iterations. I'm talking about they came up with a new generation of younger.
Oh, okay. So this is a whole new.
So like for example, suddenly they aged. They aged Dick Grayson and Donna Troy and Roy Harper and a lot of those characters and brought them from their teens to their 20s. And that becomes, the interesting part is now you're starting to hit generation 4 because, that now that Superman has a kid, okay? And that Damian is now the Robin. So Damian now marks the 4th Robin?
Yes.
The 4th Robin now. So we're on Robin number 4 to where it becomes, okay, what do you do with Tim Drake? What do you do with Tim Drake? And at least at one point Jason Todd was gone. Now you've got 3 different iterations of Robin that are now running around as entirely different characters. I kind of laugh in some ways because, at one point.
Is it because they're trying to develop other sides of Robin against just the fact they just, had a personality split and they just came up with their own groovy thing?
Well, no, okay, if you really want to go there, we can start at the beginning, which is once upon a time in the 80s, you had a situation where the number 1 book at DC Comics was the Teen Titans. Which was George Perez and Mark Wolfman. And that book was the top book. And Dick Grayson was an incredibly popular character, as was that book. That book was at the time, this is before Batman hit his resurgence. So really, in reality, that was the top book at DC. And
so that was the definitive time.
But the point I'm getting at, Ivan, is that the Bat people, when Batman went darker, really didn't have much to do with Dick Grayson, and they kind of let Mark Wolfman kind of take Dick Grayson in an entirely different direction, and they kind of didn't want him to be. They kind of wanted him, they needed to move the character forward, but at the same time, they didn't necessarily want to move Robin forward. So as a result, Dick Grayson suddenly became Nightwing instead of being Robin. Now, I think in some ways there's a part of DC where they kind of wish that didn't happen. But the irony is that Dick Grayson hasn't been Robin now for 30 plus years.
Right.
And that's the truth. For most people who've grown up, Dick Grayson hasn't been Robin for a very, very long time. So that began it. And then they brought in Jason Todd. People didn't like Jason Todd, so they killed Jason Todd.
Then there was a time when Robin was a young girl.
Oh, well, I had forgotten about that.
That's a very short time.
Technically, I take it back. That there's 6 versions of Robin if you count that, which is, and we'll get to that, which is, so at one point you had Jason Todd, you kill off Jason Todd, and then you brought in Tim Drake, which people liked. Stephanie, who was the spoiler, for a short period of time was a Robin, but then she died. And then they brought in Damian. And if you really want to go even further, the Batman, the Frank Miller Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, you've got, I think her name was Carrie, who ends up being his Robin when he's in his 50s or 60s or whatever he is, when he's older he's ridiculously older Batman. There's that too. So there have been quite a few iterations of Robin. But a lot of it started with the fact that at the time, Dick Grayson was a popular character in the Titans book, and they wanted to move that forward, and they didn't really have plans for him, but they didn't want Robin to be moved forward in some way, shape, or form. So as a result, they made him into his own character. And I think there's certain people who, to this day, for a while, there were people who would like to see everything go back to a reset and go back to where it's Batman with Dick Grayson as Robin. And the problem is you just can't do that today. You can't.
Well, because then you end up stifling the growth of it.
Well, and then we can start looking at Marvel. And Marvel's only recently started trying to figure out ways to build characters within their characters. And it started with the Ultimate Universe when they did Miles Morales as Spider-Man. You had what's her name? Foster at one point being Thor. You had
Thor,
Amadeus Cho is Hulk. Who else am I missing, Mike?
Multiple people as Captain America. I'm getting a lot of echo. It's on Jeff's side.
What?
Okay, all right, we're good. I was getting some feedback. Now we've had, and now we're having like Falcon and Winter Soldier as Captain America.
Right. Well, but the point being is they've tried to go ethnic diverse and to go new directions with some of the characters. And we've talked about the fact that they did it all at once, which kind of resulted in somewhat of a backlash in two levels. One, a backlash from the regular fans. Two, a backlash from people whose reaction was more along the lines of, how can I say, racist. And that was underlying.
And sexist.
Well, I'm sitting here with a promotional from Marvel, Marvel Free Previews, and the lead page has Ben and Alicia, the thing. And of course, the wedding that's been in years in the making. Ben and Alicia say "I do" in the special 650th issue spectacular, the Fantastic Four.
Okay, well, yeah, we've had weddings of Marvel characters before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
but that's happened. But
then there's a variant cover of the same of the same comic, and it's just this beautiful heroic thing. You got Captain America and Thor, and oh man, this is amazing.
Variant covers. I think variant covers. I know variant covers fuel a lot of the physical market.
Right.
Why printed comic media still kind of exists, because if someone really likes a good book, they're going to want their favorite, if not all, of the variant covers. But I think they're getting pretty out of hand with sometimes you'll get an issue 1 that'll have over a dozen variant covers.
Yeah, I think the one that's most notable was in the 90s when Gen 13 from Image came out, and they had so many variant covers. It was unbelievable. My favorite is that sometimes they have an open space on the covers where sometimes creators can then create their own. Like if you're at a comic book, like if you're at a comic book convention,
right.
Well, you can have any creator you want. Basically, create what you want on the front.
Oh yeah, all the main publishers are doing that now. You'll have a comic that's blank, and you can get it signed or sketched by the artist.
Yeah,
at the shows.
Or even an artist of your choice. If it doesn't necessarily, like for example,
exactly. It doesn't even have to be an official.
When I go to Balthazar and I want him to draw me a Spider-Man cover, I can do that. Yeah. Or if I want to, God willing, George Perez would be willing to do it. That'd be great. That'll never happen. I think I might die at that point in joy.
No, don't die, Jeff. That's the first rule of podcasting.
Yes, that's right. We forgot that. But I don't even know that George is doing stuff like that anymore. Hey, as long as Ivan was sitting there talking about villains, I went to IGN and they had a 100. I don't know how they compiled this list, but the top 100 villains, I decided to skip and go down to the top 10. Any inklings on who we think is in the top 10 of all superhero villains?
Gargamel.
No, Gargamel.
The Tom Cat?
Top Cat. No! I'll tell you now.
He's not even a villain. I picked a villain. I picked a good one, too.
Yeah. Okay.
Top Cat's not even a villain.
This is DC and Marvel for the most part.
The Clock King.
No. All right, we'll do this. You're gonna do this. We'll do this again. I don't know what the rationale is for this list.
Okay.
Number 10 is the Kingpin. Number 9 is Dark Phoenix.
Yep.
Number 8 is Loki. Number 7 is Ra's al Ghul.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 is Darkseid. Mm-hmm. Number 5, Galactus. Number 4.
You mean Dark Sid?
Dark Sid, yeah, Dark Slide.
Okay.
Dark Slide. Welcome to the Dark Slide, baby. What was it? Lex Luthor is 4. Doctor Doom at 3. Joker at 2, Magneto at 1. I would never put Magneto at 1.
It's the future, Charles.
Yeah, I'm looking at a cover here in the promotional
Dragons.
for holiday special.
I'm not on there.
Venom's not on the list.
I am not in the top 10.
Poor Venom.
I will eat your head.
We got Deadpool with Seasons Beatings. Which, of course, Seasons Beatings number 1. I guess this is coming out for Christmas.
Hey, gentlemen,
yeah.
My understanding is there's some sort of Transformers convention coming into town?
That's in 2 weeks. Well, a week from the time this podcast airs. It'll be the last weekend in October. It'll be in Chicago, which is the I can't remember the hotel. The Crown Plaza O'Hare. It was that same hotel that I guess it happened about a year ago. Got news because I guess a young woman was drunk and wandered into the kitchen and she closed herself in the freezer and died.
Okay.
I remember that.
Yeah, this one is like... So anyway, that's where our Transformers convention is going to be.
Yeah.
Not to make light of that whole situation, but yeah, that's like, I was looking at news because I wanted to see the layout of the hotel, and I'm seeing all these YouTube videos of people talking about the kitchen. I'm like, what is going on here? And then I found out, I remember that this was making news last year in Chicago about this young woman that I guess it was like 3 a.m. She was at a party and she was underage drinking and
inebriated. Then she locked herself in the freezer.
Yeah, she staggered into the kitchen freezer and died.
Wow.
So the Crown Plaza O'Hare, which is right across the street from the Donald A. Stevens Convention Center, will be TFCon 2018.
Yeah. Is there anybody I'd recognize the names, or is there anybody coming? Well, you probably know who the names are. I don't know any of these people. Probably.
Well, let's see. Beast Wars voice actors will be there. Beast Wars was from like the Transformers CGI show of the 90s. Mm-hmm. When Transformers was kind of in remission at the time, and actually the line was actually dying, but Beast Wars kind of saved it. But,
that was a great show. Mainframe?
Yeah. Some voice actors from the original cartoon series. Comic artists, like from IDW, is the current holder of the IP for Transformers comics. Writer James Roberts from IDW. Couple of other guests, Josh Perez, Josh Bersham, and Sierra Pitre-Ducher. I think that's how her name is pronounced. And a couple of people.
On the page. I'm on the page now. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, so some IDW artists and some voice actors from the cartoons, and a couple of people from former Hasbro employees will be there to talk about their days on, being at the show, because this is not an official Hasbro licensed convention, because I guess that's happening. This is happening. The HasCon is Hasbro's own thing, because 2 years ago they killed BotCon, which used to be the official Transformers convention.
Well, we know what that's all about.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Wait, they're having a podcast roundtable?
Yep.
We're not on this?
We're not a Transformers podcast, technically. There are several Transformers podcasts.
But those guys that Ivan was on the show, they'll be there.
No, I don't think TKO. I think it'll probably be
that's not their speed.
They'll be too stoned to be on the podcast.
That are too rude,
Well, that's just their thing, man. No disrespect to those guys, but just saying, they got a different vibe about them. They like being where they're at. So good on them. I know a couple of guys from that show, Heyman and Bedbugs. I'll probably see Bedbugs there at the show. Not the actual insect, but there's a guy who is.
No, I know what you're talking about. Come on.
Well, Jeff doesn't know, and our listeners don't know. Like I said, we're not a Transformers podcast, but yeah, that's happening soon. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to have friends coming down from out of state, and they're going to want Chicago deep dish pizza. Yay! So I get to get some Chicago deep dish.
All right.
So anyway, so that's coming up real soon. I'm looking forward to that.
Giordano's near there. I think there is.
There's a Giordano's. I think there's a Gino's East. Not a Lou Malnati's.
I'm not a big Gino's East guy.
Gino's East is fine.
Yeah.
I'll have to get some Giorgio's. There's a place in Crystal Lake that I like to go. Not the famous Jason Crystal Lake. No, that's Halloween, isn't it? Crystal Lake, or is that?
I don't know.
Is that Friday the 13th or is that Halloween?
I think. I don't know.
Anyway. Crystal Lake is an actual city in McHenry County, and they have a good pizza place called Giorgio's. I'll maybe bring some deep dish from up there.
Can we go there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, speaking of pizza, do you guys see this? In London, they are requiring them to shrink the size of pizza as an anti-government obesity plan.
What?
Smaller portions? They think that's going to solve the problem?
I'm not making this up. This is on our page. We actually put.
No. I'm just shocked by that. I mean, they're gonna make pizza smaller, so people are gonna eat less. Well, you know what? Human beings. If I'm hungry, I'm gonna buy 2 of them motherfuckers and put them in the oven then.
Okay, Ivan. This is from the Daily Telegraph. In London.
Okay.
Pizzas must be shrunk or lose their toppings under a government plan to cap calories in thousands of meals sold in restaurants. Pies and ready meals and sandwiches will also be subject to the new proposed calorie limits in a desperate bid to tackle Britain's obesity crisis. Under the proposal, a standard pizza should contain no more than 928 calories. Far less than sold by takeaways, restaurants, and shops. The recommendation suggests that a savory pie should contain no more than 695 calories. The drastic measures were taken to combat Britain's obesity crisis. The plan was recommended to limits on thousands of regularly consumed foods. Cooking sauces, soups, burgers, and processed meats.
There's going to be a lot of pissed off people, boy.
Let them eat their fish and chips. You mess with my pizza serving sizes, and you'll be in trouble.
That's it. No. We do pizza here in this state.
Yeah, well, apparently there's been a government effort to half obesity rates by 2030.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, apparently. There's a whole big article about this. I'll tell you right now, and if you did this in America, people would go nuts. I mean, you saw what they did with the soda thing in New York.
Yeah, the soda tax. Yeah, when was Mayor Bloomberg in New York?
No, well, I think they still have the soda tax. It was here in Chicago.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they shot that down within weeks.
Oh God, people are going nuts.
They're like, really?
It was detriment to small business owners, like mom-and-pop convenience stores.
No, there are people just absolutely going nuts about how dare that my soda be X or Y or Z or all this stuff. But I believe in New York at one point, I don't know if it's still there, the city of New York, I believe, was requiring that you couldn't sell a soft drink bigger than the size of a 16-ounce. I don't know if that's still legit or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So in come the 15.9 ounce bottles.
Well, I mean, obviously you can have a 16 ounce.
Yeah.
My goodness. Speaking of food that's supposed to be made cheaply, that leads us into this thing about Eccentric Soul. My little story about a record label.
Oh,
built on
yeah, we have,
food.
geez.
Yeah, we haven't covered this yet. We were
No.
teased it 2 weeks ago, and then Ivan was absent for personal reasons. We were glad he's back. Although, sometimes we're happy he's back, but yeah, we're mostly happy that he's back.
Wow, say that in a mouthful, right?
We're mostly happy. So, Ivan, lay it down on us. Tell us the story.
Okay, well, the story is about a man named Errol Brown. Now, Errol Brown, here in Chicago, was known as the godfather of King Drive. Had a home on the street there, and of course, in this home at 4114 South King Drive, he had this record label. It was called Bandit. And then, for more than a decade, beginning in the late 60s, Errol Brown was the head of this label. And, he didn't sing or play a note, but he was definitely the undisputed star of the label. And between the whole situation that happened with the record label, Bandit released more than a dozen singles and one full-length LP. Though he never scored a major hit, Brown didn't need airplay on sales receipts to keep going. He financed his label with the welfare money he collected from the harem of women he lived with and lorded over in a bizarre ghetto commune. Okay. Brown juggled as many as a dozen ladies at a time, among them his wife, several longtime mistresses, and a bevy of young girls he referred to as his daughters, quotations. Many of whom were signed over in on some cases, sold to Brown or as guardian. He controlled them all completely, mind, body, and soul. To some he was a predator, to others a protector, for many he was both. Okay, so you have this cat named Errol Brown who started this record label. And on this record label, he released, a number of great 45s. But the biggest hit he ever had on the label was a group called the Majestic Arrows, okay? And they made this one LP called The Magic of the Majestic Arrows. Now, you're saying, where am I getting all this information from? Well, the good people at Numero Uno Group released this. This was like their third release off that record label. And it comes complete with a fully annotated and it's got a lot of beautiful pictures, booklet of everything that happened with the label. The album, the Magic of the Majestic Arrows, is in the box too, along with all of the 45s that were released in a 3-album set in a book. And so the story comes down to this. Errol Brown, okay, with the number of women he had in his little, commune and everything, he would just go ahead and he would, book all kinds of recording dates and all kinds of stuff like this. Yeah, solely, from the money he was garnering from all the women who were, living off the public dough. And he managed to do this for 10 years. And run this record label, this shoestring record label. It's varied, talents from, we had, kids who were, kind of primed to be the next Michael Jackson, quartets of women, Touch of Love was on that label as well. And, which all 4 women in the group were involved with Brown at one point or another. And then, it just goes on to continue to tell this story of this really small, and very, like I said, eccentric soul label called the Bandit label. Yes. Didn't make a lot of money, but they did put out a product that nowadays on the collector's market, some of those Bandit labels go for some really good money.
When did the label shut down?
The label shut down in 1972. And then of course by that time in 1972, most of Chicago recording was in its decline at this point. I mean, a lot of studios were shutting down. A lot of stuff was being outsourced to East and West Coast, studios and such. So not a lot of action was happening by 1972. So a lot of small labels bit the dust at that time as well. Bandit being no exception. Earl Brown. You look at some of the pictures in this box set. It surprises you the styles and things that were happening in the day. I mean, the pictures in this package, it's really, really good. So, for those of you collectors out there, if you're interested, yeah, it's numero uno number 003. It's called Eccentric Soul. It's on the Bandit label. Hey, if you find it, dig it, man, because it's really got it going on. The cuts, no slouch. They're really a nice slice of Chicago rhythm, blues, and soul. So,
do you own any of these on 45?
I own 2 on 45. I have the Majestic Girls 45, and it's in the play box. It gets out every now and again. Especially with the with the Sweet Soul Music thing that I do over at Logan Arcade every third Sunday of the month, 2410 West Fullerton, 1 to 5. So I'll probably play that there. Because it's just that type of a groove. Yeah, a lot of good stuff off of that short-run Chicago label. But there were a lot of shoestring labels in Chicago back in the day. I mean, they all have their own little stories. Can I tell you one more? Do we have time?
Of course.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then there's the story of Stacy Records. Okay, 1619 South Prairie Street in Chicago. Now you think to yourself, Stacy, okay, here's where we're at. You had a guy named Jim Gaylord. Now Jim Gaylord, okay, he came from money. He was one of these type of people where he got in on something, he would create it. There are Gaylord convertibles. I think there's like a dozen of them in the world. He was trying to make a bid for General Motors to release this kind of car. It's kind of like the same type of thing that happened with Tucker. They only made a bunch of them and then no more. Well, yeah, 12 Gaylord mobiles. Okay, he also got involved in other ventures. And then he decided to take his hand in singing. And so he, put himself out there as he could. And he came to the attention of Dick Clark, which had him on American Bandstand. And then he made this single for United Artists. And, okay, it didn't do a whole lot of moving, but it gave him the inclination, hey, if I don't sing, well, then I can always run a record label. That'd be kind of cool. So from 1959 to 64, there was a label called Stacy, which, of course, it started with number 913. The label design is a red with a gold inset and a kind of mystical pyramids in the one corner of the label. It's a very distinctive label. It's a really nice label. And so then he started releasing all manner of things off of this Stacy label, and there were 47 actual Stacy records released from the label, and 1 album from a gentleman who was a master of the Rickenbacker guitar. His name was Al Casey, and Al Casey came from the West Coast and also did a lot of session work, and so he had done just that over at Stacy Records while releasing a number of 45s. They had an idea to create Chicago's probably one of the very few people that actually did a surf album in Chicago. It was called Surfin' Hootenanny. And the first copies have the blue vinyl with white little specks in it to give you like you're looking at waves when the record spins. And it had 12 really great surf songs on it, done by Al Casey and his wife Corky Casey, who played the bass on all of those records. They were best friends with Dwayne Eddy and his wife. So they also had a project called let me see. They had a female group on the label too on Stacy as well. So Cookie and the Cupcakes, that's what they were. And so for 5 years in Chicago, we had a label called Stacy at 1619 South Peoria Avenue. And the records, all 47 of them, are worth some good coin now because they're an eclectic roster of rhythm and blues, soul, rock and roll, rockabilly, and jazz, all on one label. It's just this real loose-ended, roster of people on Stacy Records. And all well done. Most of them recorded at Universal or in Clovis, New Mexico with Norman Petty in his studio, where Al Casey cut a lot of things with Dwayne Eddy, which, makes for real interesting music. So, yeah, so that's one of the labels here in Chicago that have come, have gone, but left quite the impression. Oh, by the way, did I forget to mention Surfin' Hootenanny on a red vinyl? I think it got on the Chicago charts. I think it was top 20, and that's why they pressed them in red.
I think you played for me Surfin' Hootenanny.
I sure have.
In the old radio days.
Uh-huh. You got Al Casey mimicking the guitar talents of The Ventures, Dwayne Eddy, and Dick Dale in one record. And then you have the Blossoms girl group singing, hard behind them. We're gonna have a Surfin' Hootenanny. Oh, come on. It's just got that kind of excitement to it. It's really a great record. At least I think so. Yeah, so there you go. Little Chicago record label history there to kind of complement the eccentric soul thing on the Bandit label. So there you go. Any questions?
No, I think you nailed that one pretty good. Although I really need to kind of take notes on starting a record label with food stamps a little bit more. I don't think it's as easy as it was back in the day.
No. I don't think you could get away with the shenanigans today like they did back in the day. That's nuts. When I first heard that story, I thought I was getting the goods. I thought I was getting a bunch of shit, but then when I read the notes inside the book and everything, I was just like, damn. It totally surprised me. Yeah, I'll bring, sometime we'll have to get the book together because it's really, it's really kind of cool to see. Or I'll take pictures of it. I'll send them to you guys. You'll see what I mean.
Okay.
Absolutely. Do we have anything else? I know Iron Fist got canceled, right?
We posted like 9 minutes within each other. It's like, oh man.
What happened?
I posted that on the Facebook page. The Marvel Netflix series, one of the Defenders that they built up to had his own series. His name was Iron Fist. And they just started season 2, didn't they?
Yeah.
Season 2 just came out. And
season 2 just dropped.
It's supposedly better than season 1 was a train wreck, which was half the reason you'd watch it is because it was just that bad. It was so bad. I mean, season 1 was so horrible. I don't even want to try to watch season 2. But yeah, apparently they're not doing it. It's led to speculation about what they're going to do next, if that means that Iron Fist might move to the Disney startup or what happens, or if he'll show up in other Netflix series. Oh, duh. I totally spaced, Mike. I don't know if you caught that Warner Brothers is now going to have their own over-the-top model that they're working on now, too.
Warner Brothers is having their own streaming service?
Yeah, Warner Brothers is going to have their own now, too.
But wait a minute. Well, this must be for the non-DC content, then.
See, that's the interesting part to me. I don't understand what their
intention is.
Why they would do that? Because you just started. Unless I don't understand. I don't get it. I'm kind of with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Which is you just launched this whole DC universe thing, and then why would I buy that if I could buy a Warner Brothers package, which might include all the DC stuff? And I can't imagine it won't, because even like this new Titan show that came out, why would they not want to get it in more people's hands? Maybe it'll dovetail? I have no idea.
Well, I think do you think maybe they're just trying to cover more bases by having more to go after, or do you think maybe there's an exclusivity between that channel and this new channel that they're starting?
It's a possibility, but why would you? I don't know. I mean,
it's It's just like back in the day when, you had one artist, you used two different names, and put the records out under two different labels.
Right. Again, I'm just...
And it's a very, perplexing.
I mean, I know one of the things they talked about is HBO they were talking about, this is from the LA Times this is older. There was one from earlier this week, but I can't find it now.
Well, we are recording on a Monday, so earlier in the week we'd be kind of hard to find.
I mean last week. I'm sorry, last week. I meant last week. I saw it last week.
Okay.
I saw it last week. Where?
Okay.
You guys are really okay.
Okay.
Here,
we have Venom read the article.
This is the one.
Have Venom read the article.
Okay, I will read the article.
Oh my gosh.
I will read the article. I will not read the article. I will make that noise.
Reading is dumb.
Reading is dumb.
Right.
Reading is dumb. According to this, AT&T plans HBO-based streaming service bundled with Turner, Warner Brothers, shows, and movies. No details on how much cost, except that it will definitely be more than HBO's $15 a month.
Why does Venom sound like Bizarro?
I don't know.
Me, Bizarro, read news article better than Venom.
No, I don't. We don't like Mike. We don't like. That's because Venom is a loser. So, it says here that it looks like they're going to include a lot of the different properties, but it is interesting because they don't mention DC at all. Like they mentioned TNT, they mentioned HBO. Although it's interesting, they're not talking about CNN. This is interesting. I don't understand why you're right, Mike. I don't know why they wouldn't include the DC universe. That just seems weird.
Well, anything under the DC banner, I presume, is going to go under their own umbrella.
See, this is where I think this is one of those where now they're doing this. See, this is a perfect example where Warner, in my opinion, just doesn't seem to get it, which is they decided to spin this all off as DC's own thing, but you're not going to get as many eyeballs on these new series that you're pulling out, like Titans and Stargirl and Swamp Thing and Doom Patrol, as you would if you put them within a Warner Brothers startup. Now, if at some point you're going to dovetail the one into the other, that's a different animal. Or maybe there's a cost where you can buy one and put the other one within. I don't know, but it seems, that just. Here's a real question. How soon until we see this from just about everybody?
Right, and something we talked about in past shows, that everybody and their brother is putting out their own streaming service, and that's just going to lead to more piracy.
Everybody wants to get a spoonful.
Right, well, I mean, that's the part that I laugh about, because if Warner's is doing this, you're not that far away from Universal. Because Universal would be looking at the exact same thing as they are, which is, because Universal's got as much stuff. Universal's got NBC involved. Universal's got Comcast technically in it. Universal's got their entire library. Yeah,
Well, Comcast has its own streaming service, and it's called cable.
Right. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time until some of that becomes... they kind of make it, well, and it's funny because Universal actually has, now that I think about it, Universal has their own cable channel, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
MCATV.
Although it's funny because it's funny. Well, I'm curious to see. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we talked about this at the last show when Ivan wasn't on there about how crazy this has gotten. Speaking of crazy, I got more crazy for you guys.
Crazy's good.
I got more crazy. A South Carolina man, apparently you need to make sure about your potato chips. Lots of stuff about chips today. Because apparently a South Carolina man shot his cousin when he warned him not to eat his potato chips.
Is he dead?
Oh,
I don't think he's dead. Attempted murder. He's not dead.
Okay.
That's not good either way.
Apparently, he was upset because this guy was upset because he told the victim not to eat his salt and vinegar potato chips. So he shot him.
And now he's going to jail.
Yep.
Oh boy!
Don't touch my chips or I'll shoot you.
And he just won.
Victim told the 30s he never actually ate the chips.
Man. Really?
What's that?
What in the fancy fuck?
I don't even gonna get into this. This is
bullshit.
Oh, I know what story we didn't get to. We've been saving this one. Mike could not be happy. The follow-up to a story that we talked about a long time ago.
Edit point. No, just kidding.
Yeah, edit point. Yeah, you're probably gonna want it. We talked about this when we went up with, we talked about this particular part of this story. There was more to the sex bot story than what we thought we had more material that we could have used. No. Apparently, there's an individual who broke one in testing. There's a hobbyist who apparently does this. His name is Brick Dahlbanger. Of course, Brick Dahlbanger. What am I thinking? Fast driving the world's most famous sex robot.
Oh God.
Apparently, her name was Harmony. There's more to this than this. Where's the art? There's something in this. I remember that there being like an entire interview. Where did it go? Oh, it's on Forbes. That's where it is. Forbes. Forbes has an entire interview with the man who test drives sex robots.
Oh yeah, and of course, I'm sure he's no stranger to Pornhub. I'm sure he's got a movie in there someplace. What now?
Positive he's not.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So apparently the sex bot that he destroyed was called Harmony. She's anywhere from 4'10" to 5'6", weighing somewhere between 60 to 90 pounds.
Okay. Blue refused, didn't he?
Apparently strong. Blue eyes, blonde hair, 3 to 15 years of durability depending on proper maintenance and upkeep. Okay. How did he become a sex robot beta tester? I've had numerous relationships up until my 50s. I was coming out of a relationship I had been in for 2 years. It was just one of those things where we weren't clicking and there was another failed attempt at a relationship. I had some relationships that were about 7 months long. The longest I'd ever had was 3.5 years after my divorce. I guess he got frustrated. No.
Yeah, he had to blow. He was
frustrated. That's how this would start.
That's why you'd have a relationship that didn't last longer than 7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because it says here, here's the deal. When you tell somebody he didn't gravitate this because he's a freak, that's because you're a freak.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a very gregarious person, very happy. I have many friends. Male and female. I have a good relationship with my children. Sure. All he has children know about is animatronic sex dolls. He says his son is okay with it. His daughter knows so much. No crap, really.
Speaking of sickles, we're on the subject of this type of this.
I'll put this up on this site. I'll let people read this.
Didn't you already do that when we teased it?
No, this is a different one.
All right.
So we got more.
It's a different one.
I have another article. Where was this article from?
The one I'm looking at now?
Yeah, the one you're reading just now. Where was this
from?
Forbes. Okay, wow.
Forbes.
Now, that's you wouldn't expect an article like that in Forbes. But
You're
this
right.
from
No, that's kind of why I'm laughing about it.
I've got an article here out of the Sun, out of the UK, and I'd expect this kind of article from the Sun. But a UK sex doll rental firm offers widows replicas of their dead partners to help comfort them.
Oh!
We have a lot of people approach us who have dolls made that resemble a partner they have lost.
Oh, no.
It says, quote, it can be very beneficial for them and helps them keep a piece of their loved one. It provides them with comfort, and people don't always buy the dolls for a sordid reason.
Oh, my God, no. No.
We even get couples who want to experience a threesome but maybe feel uneasy about seeing their partner with another person.
Oh, no. This shit's all wrong, man.
And then the article just shows these dolls with no heads, and they're just hanging on hooks with various levels of lingerie and stockings on them.
Oh, my God.
Very unsettling.
Yeah.
To say nothing of just, oh my goodness, my partner died. Could you make the sex robot, look like him or her?
Like, it almost sounds like...
But while you're doing it, could you make some subtle changes?
This is why the Cylons are going to kill us.
Oh, God. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, like, when you have a pet and you decide you're going to stuff it because rather than bury it or cremate it or something like that, and you decide to put them for all of eternity and you stuff them and you put them in your house. This sounds kind of like that, doesn't it?
It's just wrong on so many levels, guys. Really
Don't you have another article about potato chips instead, Jeff?
I do, but as long as we've gone too far, we continue to go too far. About
going extreme.
About the couple hospitalized after a man got his head stuck in a woman's vagina.
Oh my God.
Apparently this happened in Greensboro, Alabama. You want to know why it happened in Greensboro, Alabama? Because nothing else happens in Greensboro, Alabama. Oh, God. What happened there? Someone would have asked if she's related. God.
Was he reverting to childhood up to the point of birth, or what?
Oh,
man.
According to doctors, both could suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome. Get out of here, son.
Sure.
Wait, here's the best. And I'm kind of paraphrasing. Again, all this is on the Squares page if you want to take a look at it on Facebook. According to data collected by the U.S. Health Department of Human Services, I can't believe they have this information, 3,213 couples were hospitalized for such problems across the country in 2015 and 3,789 in 2016. Wait, it gets better. Apparently this couple has done this once before back in 2007. You think after the first time they'd be like, man, that has got to be some seriously good sex or something. Why do you do that? I mean, why else would you do that?
Well, you know.
Best is apparently 911 thought it was a joke.
Wow.
911 thought it was a joke.
Wow.
Let's see. Where else can we go? We can go to the other one because we're coming close to this time, and I know Mike wants to talk about this. And actually, Mike, you do want to talk about this because I'm positive you want to go on a rant about how it's important not to listen to Christmas music too early because it affects your mental health.
Well, it does, Ivan. It's not even funny. It's true.
No, I've only been preaching the gospel on this whole, why are we listening to Christmas music in October?
Yeah, really, no joke. Well, when we all worked in the music industry, I think they finally backed it up. There was a while where it was like as soon as like sometime in early October, late October, they'd start with it on.
There's a major 50,000 watt FM station here in Chicago. I will not name it because they don't deserve to be named.
No.
They start their Christmas music on November 1.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
And to that I say,
nay.
Okay?
No.
I like Christmas as much as the next guy, but
not incessantly.
Wait until after we eat the goddamn turkey, people.
Yeah,
Thank you.
There's a cartoon out there that says, "Wait your turn, fat boy."
Because that's just bullshit, man. That's all mind melt shit. That's all mind melt shit. Let's go ahead. Let's condition the people for the holidays.
Oh, God.
Angels we have heard on high. Go into the store and buy.
Stop. Oh, God. In a world, apparently, here's a psychoanalyst, Steve McNown, on the effects of embracing Christmas traditions too early. Quote, in a world of stress and anxiety, people like to associate things that make them happy. Christmas decorations evoke those strong feelings of childhood. Decorations are simply an anchor or pathway to those old magical emotions and excitement. So putting up Christmas decorations extend early excitement. Good Lord. Yeah, don't do that. No, just no. No, and no. You should leave us alone. Hearing the same songs repeatedly can have a less desirable effect on individuals, especially retail employees who are subject to the music on hours on end. How about radio people? Radio people want to shoot themselves through. Good Lord.
Aren't you glad we didn't have to go under those restraints back in our day? We totally avoided that bullshit.
You know what I was thinking about the other day? When we worked near the end of our run at WVVX FM, when there was one time I was covering for you and you were running late, and we were supposed to have Polish music because there was still a spot for some Polish funeral home, except there was Polish music because the station was being sold and nobody had Polish music anymore. So I remember because you heard this. So I went on air. I said, "Good evening. This is the Polish Music Hour. Unfortunately, I don't have Polish music today. We're going to hear Metallica." and then I played like Metallica, and then I played the spot somewhere in the middle of the hour. And I remember you came in, you're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I don't have any Polish music. Do you?" No. Yay. Do you have Polish music? No. Nobody gave us the Polish music. And the best is afterwards when they complain, because of course they always complain. It's like, well,
they always complain.
Where was the Polish music? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
How are you supposed to put an hour of Polish music on if we don't have Polish music?
And these are the days before you could just plug in your iPhone and put on Pandora or whatever. There were no streaming services for music on the internet back then.
Yeah, what did they want us to do? Fart into the microphone or something?
No one left a CD, so sorry. Yeah,
no CD, no reel-to-reel, no nothing. Not even a VHS tape from Jerome or whatever the hell it was.
Jerome, oh my God. That's almost as crazy as the time Jerome played all the wrong music when they inaugurated WXXY.
Yeah, we told the story about how he got fired magnificently that first day at XXY.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, let's see. What else? Do we have any? We do have another story about chips. And I don't mean Ponch. Hold on.
Or John.
Or Poncharelli or all that stuff. Where was it? I think, here. Deputies use Doritos to lure a wayward pig back home. This is what happened. This is why this is what makes America great. Is stories like this.
That's right.
This is why we're the greatest country in the world.
Okay?
Use Doritos to lure a pig the size of a mini horse back home. The pig was running around a neighborhood in San Bernardino. Great, wonderful.
How did the pig cross the road to get to the bag of Doritos?
Oh, God.
Helps me get home at the end of the day.
Yeah, well.
Hey. I'm not sure that Doritos are cheese puffs.
Yeah. As long as it's not a cheese ball.
No cheese balls.
But yeah, no.
You shoot those with the Yerzuka.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Fire off a cheese ball.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I continue to. So let's recap on the wacky, shall we? We had a air gun that allows you to fart across a tent. We know that Doritos will get large hogs to come home. Apparently, you got take some man's salt and vinegar chips in South Carolina, or they'll blow your head off. Don't let it get stuck in some woman's vagina. And most importantly, apparently, if you can't get vagina, apparently you can go test sex bots and break one. So, God bless America.
Bravo!
God bless America. The land of the free, the home of the crazy. We have... I don't
want to stay less crazy. Wait until December to play your Christmas songs.
Yeah, oh yeah, don't,
please,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Please, no. Week before the day.
Well, I'm okay with just the month of December.
Well, okay, all right. Maybe second week in December.
You know what the thing is? Here's the thing. They're listening, the people in Canada are looking at this and watching us, and they're going, dude, you guys are nuts.
Dude, y'all need to relax, eh?
Hey, we got Doritos right here, dude.
Yeah, they got, dude. Just leave the bigs home, dude.
Hey,
some
man.
good Canadian bacon up there, eh?
Hey, man, your president's really orange.
You want a toke, dude? Come over here, dude. I've got the goods, man.
Oh, and by the way, apparently in England you can only have a certain size pizza. We've learned this today, too.
I don't know. Did I tell you the story about the woman who got her business stitched up?
What?
Short story. Okay, and then, okay. What happened was, married couple, both of them surgeons, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, they're going through a terrible divorce now, okay?
Uh-oh.
But for some reason, she still trusts her husband. She figures, we don't get along anymore. Everything should be all right. Well, she came in for a routine procedure and everything, and, put her under, and of course he went ahead and basically stitched her shut.
Why?
And then, well, I guess
was she having an affair?
In a very vindictive way of yes, because she was having an affair.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would, yeah.
Yeah, so
wow.
needless to say, when she was sent home and everything like that, when everything that happened, she was sent home and such, and then found that he'd only left enough space so that way she could just urinate, but then she was mortified at the whole fact that everything had gotten closed off.
Oof.
And then the phone call was returned to, yes, darling, well, maybe you might be a little more loyal if it stayed closed a little longer.
Oh!
No.
That sounds like a Bobbitt situation coming right up.
Okay.
You are going to get Bobbittized if you do stuff like that. Gee whiz.
Yeah, well, I guess old boy now is making big money in the porn industry.
I have no idea what he is these days.
Who, Bobbitt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, after the whole incident happened and they fixed him up again and they stunted him and all this other good stuff, yeah, he ended up going into the porn industry. That's what I heard.
Well, he did at one point. I know there was a video. I know that.
Okay.
I know there was a video. It was funny. I remember I was in Vegas, and I was in Vegas at one point, and we were meeting a buddy at the airport picking him up, and I guess Bobbitt was on that flight, and Bobbitt was leaving the plane. Somebody goes, "Hey, John, did you forget anything?" I know. Wow.
Wow.
Well, speaking of forgetting, please don't forget to check out the Facebook page for Squares of the Round Table podcast.
Yes, Facebook. Leave a like.
That's where we're most active.
Please.
And then, also, if you're on the Instagram or the Twitter, we're on there as well on SOTOT Podcast. Thank you for listening on PodBean. We're also on YouTube. And that works the other way around. If you're listening on YouTube, hey, we're on PodBean as well. Yes. Drop us an email. Our email address is sototpodcast@gmail.com.
Doesn't he do that well? I wish our openings were just as fluid.
23 episodes in, I've had a bit of practice.
Yes, he's got it.
I say this. I recite this to myself on the way to work every day. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. You know, here's the interesting part. I did not know this. It is the 25th anniversary of the John Wayne Bobbitt thing. This happened
25 years.
Holy shit.
No, not shit.
That's right.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know what you
last week was the 25th anniversary of the Nightmare Before Christmas. All right, real quick, Jeff. Do you think Nightmare Before Christmas, all right, is it a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
It's a Halloween movie.
What column do you put it in?
I mean, if Die Hard is a Christmas movie,
which it is,
which Bruce Willis says it's not.
Well, what does he know?
It's a Christmas movie.
I would say I'd say you could use it for both.
Okay, both. Okay, Ivan,
use it for both.
You say it's Halloween?
I say it's Halloween. Yeah. Because, remember, he's looking for Christmas. He discovers Christmas. He's coming out of his element of Halloween and going out and discovering what Christmas is all about. So, essentially, it's a Halloween movie. I think.
But it does take place during Christmas as well as Halloween. So, I guess Jeff's right. You could be both. But
it could be both, right. Okay.
I think myself, I guess I would classify it as a Halloween movie.
Yeah, I mean...
But you can watch it for either one if you want. I'm not going to judge you.
Oh, well, I like The Nightmare Before Christmas. I think it's great.
Right. Happy anniversary, John Wayne Bobbitt and The Nightmare Before Christmas. How about that?
Yeah.
Great way to close the show.
Patty Marshall's birthday today.
Oh, that's today. That's the day we're recording, which is the 15th of October.
Yay.
So... New podcast every Thursday. We appreciate you listening, folks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And catch up with you next time on 20. I won't be on 24. I will be on 25.
Okay. We'll see Ivan again in 2 weeks. But until then, enjoy your week. And thanks again for checking us out.
All right. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Or a good day or good afternoon, wherever you are.
Something, good night or good whatever. Good something.
But make it good.
We're not good at endings either.